What up YouTube, it's SnapBrad here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Doctor, the 12th one. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Last night on the BBC there was an episode revealing the 12th Doctor, and the build up to it was immense. There was an interview with Matt Smith where he talked about it being a he, so we got a little bit sad because obviously, you know, being a woman is always interesting as a Doctor, because whatever perspective they can offer, which would have been absolutely fantastic. But then Stephen Moffat got our hopes really high up. I was so excited, I was absolutely buzzing when he revealed something different. So we all thought, oh, it's going to be Idris, you know, the first ever Black Doctor, how awesome would that be? You know, and they're not even, you know, like this one, grey. Because, you know, he's 55 and it's Peter Capaldi. So first things first, let's get him introduced. He's 55 years of age. He played on The Thick of It, where he was a foul-mouthed person, so obviously that's where everyone knows him from. He also has played in the Doctor Who before, when the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, was around on the episode of Pompeii, and he was one of the generals, I suppose, rich people. But people are saying he's too old. Now, for me personally, I'm not too fussed, but for a girl, they want like a nice man. That makes sense, so you can look up to and you can be inspired by, but, you know, like, oh, it's the Doctor, I love him, but, you know, I want to marry Matt Smith. If you talk about all the other girls, are like, I love Matt Smith! And David Tennant's so beautiful. And like, even Chris Ferguson, the girls said, I'm not bad. And then you get this man. Let's just hope he's funny, eh? Peter Capaldi! Yes! That is what the BBC revealed last night, and, well, obviously he's got mixed reviews. You know, people say he's too old, you know, he's not good looking, the girl fandom will go down for Doctor Who, because they're like, I love Matt Smith, and I love everyone! Except Peter Capaldi, because he's not very good looking. But it will be a shame to see our crazy, silly Matt Smith go, you know. He was just awesome with his, you know, intellectual ability, with also at the same time acting incredibly childlike. You know, but you know, I genuinely think that Peter Capaldi would be a good Doctor. He'll be serious, but at the same time he'd be funny, he'd do a bit of humour. But I think the companions will clash due to the age gap. I think that will be the problem. So I think if they would have to get a new companion, they could get a Ron Weasley? No. Good of you. Maggie Smith. Margaret Thatcher. Oh, she's dead. That's offensive. I suppose we'll just have to see how it goes on, because I don't know whether it's the poor writer, Stephen Moffat, who has absolutely made this whole last series very confusing with the Impossible Girl and his death and other deaths and more deaths. He's practically killed off every single person. I mean, Clara's kind of dead, but she's kind of not. That's the problem. And I kind of feel sorry for Peter Capaldi, because he's just gone from the 11th being really, really young and really, really funny to someone who's not going to have a different type of humour, and also, like, I think Stephen Moffat just won't do him any justice. That's my problem. The big question to be asked is the show for adults or kids? Now, the last few years, the last 7 years or so, when David Tennant and Matt Smith, it became more child audience, because, you know, they appealed to the fun side, you know, with fish fingers and custard, awesome, thanks to Stephen Moffat. And also, I have a Santa's List when they introduced Rory's dad on the show. That, again, showed childness, and that was also really good because it appealed to the younger side, but also the adults found it slightly funny that a really 900-year-old man still has a Christmas list. But then with Peter Capaldi, will his humour be too targeted at adults? I think so. And it's kind of, you know, slightly heartbreaking, because here's a weird thought. Just picture this for a moment. The 11th hour, the episode, Doctor Who, Matt Smith's first ever episode, where he meets the 11-year-old Amy for the first time. Now imagine the 55-year-old Peter Capaldi meeting Amy. Now it becomes slightly weird. That's the problem. Me personally, I would have, as a younger child, I would aspire to be Matt Smith, you know. 26-year-old having the time of his life, fighting monsters, you know, acting great. Being silly, being stupid. But who's really going to aspire to be Peter Capaldi? I mean, let's not even prejudge him. He hasn't even started Doctor Who and we're already slating him off. We need to give him at least a chance. I mean, he may actually be the best Doctor we've ever had. I forgot to mention, the 50th episode of Doctor Who is on the 23rd of November, with all the Doctors being superimposed or coming back to actually perform, except Christopher Eccleston. It's kind of sad, really. The sad part is, Captain Jack Harkness is not in it for the 50th episode. Everyone loved him, because John Barrowman was not asked by Stephen Moffat to join. That's just disgraceful. For this episode, I'd like you to send me a Snapchat about your thoughts on either the previous Doctors and how much you love them, either Christopher Eccleston or any of them, or what your feelings are of Peter Capaldi, and make sure it's funny, and I'll feature you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, rate, subscribe, and remember, hit that like button. See you soon.